Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we're talking about the 5 most beautiful interior design styles. Many people agree, many designers love them, and I wanna hear from you if you have one of these, and if you don't, what would you define your style as? Now, the first design style, one of the most beautiful in the world that I love so much, brings me so much joy to see, is the Parisian apartment style. Now, this style is decadent. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous, and it's highly designed and thought through. And that's what I love about it. And the reality is, like, you know, you kind of have to be in a space that architecturally fits this in order to achieve that full and complete look, but it can be reimagined and adapted to fit into your personal style. Now, what is this style overall? It's a mix of traditional items, of historic and beautiful pieces, and modern details, modern furniture pieces, this whole mix of them. Every piece should be looked at as if it's artwork in itself. And I think that is beautiful. You know, you can have really ornate, beautiful traditional draperies with modern furniture and upholstery. You often have a lot of color, or sometimes it's super neutral, and that's all really beautiful. Now, the great part about this style is that if you don't live in a place that has the scale of these apartments, right? I mean, massive, 12-foot ceilings and these very linear-like spaces, beautiful ornate detail and plasterwork. Like, most of us don't live in those spaces, and that's okay. I don't, but we love this style. You can reimagine it and adapt it into your home or your personal style. And that's kind of what I've done in my home. My style, I wouldn't call Parisian apartment style. I would call it like modern Southern Regency, but I love the details of the Parisian apartment style, the eclectic feeling it can have, more on eclectic later, but it's easy to reimagine in your own style or based off of the pieces you have or have access to and the level of detail you bring into that space. Now, no matter what your style is, we can make it work within this realm, or we can fine-tune your personal style to make your home look like you and reflect you. And it may take an interior designer to make that happen. So I am at your service. You can always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me. You can show me around. I can answer all of your design questions, and you can book that call using the link in the description box down below, or by going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. In celebration of my birthday and the holidays, we are currently having a sale now, November 23rd through December 7th at midnight. You can book a 30-minute or longer session with me. You can show me around, I can answer all of your questions, and you can save $50 off of that session. The price currently reflects that discount, so be sure you head to the description box, look at that detail for more information, and you can find that link to book a call with me. I can answer all of your questions before the holidays. We can get it all straightened out, or these sessions make great gifts. And the great news is you can book your call today and have your appointment for up to 30 days out. So I will see you over there. Now, the next most beautiful interior design styles that designers go crazy for, and my clients come to me and they love, this is probably the #1 style I'm working in right now for people, and that is organic modern. Now, not to say that's the only thing I do, okay? I'm very well versed and I can work in any design style, but organic modern is what a lot of people are really liking now. Organic modern is great, and it can be so beautiful because of the versatility in it and what we can do to personalize your home. Organic modern is all about material, and it's all about color and spatial layouts and planning. It's not so much about ornamentation and collecting and all of that. It's about refined details and a comfortable space. Most of these organic modern spaces are actually incredibly usable, and that's why people gravitate towards it. It does also feel very new, but it doesn't date quickly. When I'm working in organic modern, my clients like a little bit of color. I have a few clients in this style right now. One loves pinks and purples and those sort of peachy tones, and another is like, I want sapphire blue and I want all of these colors. You can easily adapt this to fit any of those color requirements that you have, or what you name your favorite color, you can do it in this style. And that's really great. It can also be completely neutral and feel really authentic. You can use a lot of depth and rich colors. You can use browns and blacks and camels, or you can go all ivories and creams and beiges. So organic modern really fits the brief for a lot of people. Now, it's all about shape in this style. Like, when we're looking for pieces of furniture, we want to see something that has a little bit of an organic shape. I mean, I guess that's self-explanatory, right? But we want something that has a little bit of curvature, a little detail. We want it to have some of these softer edges to get that organic feeling. And that's the really great part about it. Also, you can adapt this to a lot of different design styles. Like, let's say you want that Parisian apartment vibe with the heavy ornamentation on the walls and ceilings, but you're like, hey, you know what, I actually want something super comfortable and relaxing and plush. You can adapt it into organic modern with the furniture, with the color of the walls, and that's really beautiful. I will say the majority of the materials we use in this style are very soft and welcoming. They tend to be noble materials, like a wool rug, for example, but we want velvets, we want cottons, we want those sorts of natural materials and very soft textures. And I really appreciate a style like this that has a lot of versatility because we can customize it and make it reflect a person's style, like their true style. That is always exciting to me. And when I can work with a client, we get really excited about something and we're like achieving some great design. It's a win-win for everyone. Now, the next interior design style that designers love, it's one of the most beautiful in the world, I appreciate so much, is eclectic design. Eclectic for a lot of people just means random stuff. Okay, that's what they think it is, but eclectic is incredibly intentional. And the reason I like eclectic so much is because it has this very curated feel to it. And that is something that takes a really refined eye to achieve. And it's not something that is just like mass marketed and produced and anybody could do it or have it. It really takes a very, very specific look to feel natural and look good. A lot of people will think it just looks like, you know, curated home staging, which I guess you could kind of say that, but that's actually a pretty, you know, good thing about it too, because a lot of people have different pieces. We can curate it based on what you already have and not have to replace every single thing. And it's very intentional with the coloring, in my opinion. I will tell you that I think eclectic design tends to lean a little bit more like masculine feeling, but there's nothing wrong with that, and it's okay. I actually like that. So what is eclectic design and how do you do it? It's a mix of different styles of pieces, and it may be everything is in the same style, but then they're all different colors or tones, textures, materials. You may be mixing metal finishes, but it's going to be done intentionally. Now, here's an example of eclectic design. Look at this space. You can see there's a black and white cowhide on the floor, and then an accent chair here in this sort of office situation that has a black frame with an almost white upholstery material. The office chair, the chair at this desk, is actually black and has a black frame. That's making that reference point. We have these pieces that all have the same color, so it feels cohesive, even though none of these pieces are actually the same style, which is interesting to say the least. And on top of it, we have these potted plants. They're kind of very tropical feeling and inspired, which adds a lightness and a brightness into this style. And that's interesting. And that's what eclectic is all about. You can influence it based on some of the accessories you bring in, like a potted plant. Artwork is another easy way to influence this style. An accessory like a floral arrangement could really influence the style as well. Eclectic also has certain tiers and offshoots to it, let's call them, like romantic minimalism. That is a form of eclectic design, and that's a style I've been talking about for a little while that has the influence of minimalism, but is a little bit more, it uses traditional pieces that are a little bit more romantic in their design and nature. So eclectic design is a designer's favorite. It's a go-to. And the reason people like it is because it fits into virtually any style of home, because it's just a mix of things that don't necessarily belong together, but they do because it's intentional. And that's the biggest thing to remember if you're using eclectic design. Everything has to look and feel intentional. It can be hard to plan eclectic design. It happens naturally and it's very curated. So it's not something that you really want to plan too strategically in advance. You kind of want to keep an idea about what needs to be there and then go on sourcing to get those pieces. The good thing about eclectic design is that it doesn't tick a single box because it ticks every single one of them. And you can convert this into your style and make it truly reflective of you because of that curation that has to happen in order to achieve this. Eclectic design is not just a big mix up a mess of all sorts of different things together. It's incredibly intentional, and if you're going to decorate with this style, you need to keep that in mind and remember it, because if you want to achieve beautiful design in your home, you're going to have to be strategic. Speaking of creating incredible design in your home, if you're a design lover like I am, join our community, because we all are here talking about interior design every week, 2 videos at least a week. So take a moment, hit that subscribe button, turn the bell notification on, and join us, become a part of our LeChic family. I would also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like. Another style designers love, and one of the most beautiful, is actually Grand Millennial. Now, Grand Millennial is kind of the opposite of eclectic. Eclectic is a little bit minimalistic, right? As where Grand Millennial is a little bit maximalist, and I love that for you. If eclectic feels more masculine in its nature, Grand Millennial is much more feminine. And that's something really interesting, and one of the reasons people really love Grand Millennial design. Now, it is not for everyone. It can feel very heavy. It can be very overwhelming because you're using a lot of detail and ornamentation in this style. You're going to have details like pattern fabrics and wallpapers. You're going to have trim like pipe details. You're going to have bullion fringe. You may have trim on the drapes. Actually, one of the big things with Grand Millennial is a ribbon border on drapery as opposed to like a fringe detail. That's a modernization in this style, but these are all things that Grand Millennial has, and one of the reasons people really love it. I personally like Grand Millennial, and I've tested it out. I've tried it in my home. It's a little much for me personally, but I do love the look aesthetically of it because it just is all encompassing when it comes to the color scheme. And you can push the boundaries very far with this style in terms of like painting trim and adding wallpaper, painting ceilings, the style of lighting, lampshades. You can add so much detail in this that it really feels very personal. It feels very interesting. There's always something to look at no matter where you are, but there are also different ways you can decorate in this. You can go really light and bright for something that almost has a little bit of a coastal feel that feels a little bit more youthful, and that's really fun. Or you can take it a little bit moodier, a little bit heavier for something that has a little bit more of that maximalist dark academia feel that's still in the Grand Millennial kind of niche, and that's really interesting as well. I love Grand Millennial, and it's a really wonderful style. It's not something that a lot of people want in their home, or they will take a more neutralized version of it because it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to achieve this look into your home. It is something that you tend to see more in like luxury hotels and those sorts of spaces, like those boutique hotels. That's where you see a lot of that Grand Millennial style. And that's really good because you can visit it, enjoy it, and then come home to your house that maybe isn't as overly ornate and done up. Not to say that you can't do Grand Millennial in your home. If you're really committed to the style, I absolutely love that. When I see it come across my social media, I can tell you it genuinely brings me so much joy. You just have to be realistic about the fact that this may not be for your home, but it's still something that designers love and we can all appreciate. Another style that designers love, something that is so beautiful and I love because of its versatility, is actually transitional design. Now, some people will tell you transitional design is basically just a mix of modern and traditional pieces, and like that's transitional, that's eclectic at best. Okay, so that's not what transitional is to me. In my opinion, transitional design are furniture pieces that are intentionally designed to have traditional details with a modern refinement to them. And that's what I think creates this style and why it is so versatile and so many people like it. It tends to be one of the styles you see used in model homes because it appeals to literally everyone. If you like modern design, you'll like transitional. If you like traditional design, you'll like it too because you will see the features and details in it that you admire, that you appreciate. And that makes me happy because we can kind of play around with things and we can do something interesting. Now, one of the big takeaways for transitional design, what you want to look out for, is the use of pattern and detail in it and color schemes. I would steer away from using high contrast patterns in transitional design. It can be overwhelmed by those graphic patterns very quickly because of the level of refinement within the design of these pieces. I think this is more about colors you're using. So we want to build a really strong gradient of colors. We start off with our initial colors and we go a couple shades darker and we go a couple shades lighter to build that gradient up so things feel very soothing, very aesthetic, very relaxing. You walk into a space and your eye travels throughout it and you can kind of see everything. A really strong color scheme in this style will make it look and feel gorgeous and beautiful, will always make it feel timeless. And that's the big takeaway here. Traditional design can feel heavy to people, and they may not always want that. So then they lean towards modern design. But modern design, it comes, it goes, it changes, it gets elevated because that's the newest thing that's happening right now. So it's not necessarily always going to be timeless, as where transitional is the perfect balance between the two. Something I want you to keep an eye out for and look forward as you go in and start or continue on your design journey, I love that for you, is where transitional design goes, because we're leaning more modern with transitional. So you'll have a handful of more traditional reference points in it, but it's leaning more towards like traditional, modern, plus mid-century for some of those details and lines, even a little bit of postmodern, leaning into that more organic modern look and feel. That's where transitional design is headed, and I think it's really interesting to see how this is happening and where it's going to. But no matter what form of transitional design you choose, it will always look and feel timeless because it has a reference to both the past, the present, and the future. Now that we talked about some of the best and most beautiful interior design styles, no matter what style you have in your home, you don't want to make the mistakes that make it look cheap and hold it back and are going to have to be fixed later. So be sure you check out this video right here, all about things that are going to make your house look cheap and how to fix them or just how to avoid them. And I will see you over there.